the invisible magnet. Why do we crave the people who hurt us the most? It is a paradox that defies every law of survival. On a rational level, you recognize the destruction. You witness a close friend trapped in a volatile, exhausting emotional cycle. Or perhaps, if you are completely honest with yourself, you have looked in the mirror and realized you are the one trapped. You know, with absolute mathematical certainty, that leaving is the only logical choice. Yet, when the door is wide open, you freeze. An invisible, magnetic gravity pulls you backward into the chaos. For centuries, society has diagnosed this paralysis as a moral failing. We call it weakness. We call it low self-esteem. We tell people to just leave, as if the exit door weren't guarded by a complex psychological architecture designed by your own subconscious mind. The truth is far more clinical and far more terrifying. You are not staying because you lack strength. You are staying because your brain has been fundamentally rewired to mistake pain for safety and emotional starvation for love. To break the cycle, we must peel back the layers of human consciousness and look at the hidden blueprint governing your attachments. Freud's blueprint, repetition compulsion. To understand why the conscious mind chooses suffering, we must first look to the pioneer of the unconscious, Sigmund Freud. In 1914, Freud observed a strange, self-sabotaging behavior in his patients. He noticed that human beings possess an overwhelming subconscious drive to recreate their earliest emotional wounds with entirely new people. He called this phenomenon repetition compulsion. The mechanics of repetition compulsion are elegant and cruel. Your subconscious mind does not care about your happiness. It cares about predictability. It operates entirely on a system of pattern recognition. It seeks what is familiar, because what is familiar feels survival safe, even if that familiarity is toxic. If you grew up in an environment where love was conditional, where affection was unpredictable, or where you had to perform to earn validation, your childhood brain mapped chaos as the standard baseline for human connection. When you enter adulthood, your conscious mind claims it wants a peaceful, stable partner. But when you meet someone stable, your subconscious throws an error code. Stability feels alien. It feels boring. It feels unsafe because you do not possess the psychological tools to navigate it. Instead, when you cross paths with a volatile, emotionally unavailable person, your subconscious instantly recognizes the familiar architecture of your childhood wounds. A profound illusion occurs. Your mind whispers, "Here is the familiar environment. If I can just fix this person, if I can finally force them to love me, I will retroactively heal my past." You are not staying in a toxic relationship because you love the person. You are staying because your subconscious is using them as a stage play to resolve a trauma you never healed. It is a desperate, endless attempt to rewrite history by running headfirst into the exact same wall. The cellular trap. Intermittent reinforcement. But the trap is not merely psychological. It is deeply biological. To fully understand the dark attachment, we must shift our lens from psychology to the chemical laboratory of the human brain. In a healthy, stable relationship, neurotransmitter production is balanced. Affection is predictable, creating a steady, reliable hum of oxytocin and serotonin. It is peaceful. But peace is a poor generator of chemical addiction. Toxic relationships operate on a completely different chemical schedule, a system behavioral psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. This is the exact mechanism used by casino slot machines to engineer compulsive gambling. In a volatile relationship, the rewards are entirely unpredictable. One day you are met with cold abandonment, criticism, or silent treatments. The next, you are flooded with intense love bombing, desperate apologies, and profound affection. When a reward is guaranteed, the brain releases a normal amount of dopamine. But when a reward is completely unpredictable, when you do not know if you will receive a hug or a psychological blow, the brain's reward system goes into hyperdrive. The uncertainty causes dopamine levels to skyrocket. When the toxic partner finally relents and offers affection after a period of cruelty, your brain experiences a massive, torrential flood of dopamine. It is a profound neurological relief. Over time, your brain becomes chemically conditioned. It begins to associate the excruciating pain of abandonment with the euphoric high of the eventual reconciliation. You become a biochemical addict. You're no longer staying for the person's personality, their kindness, or their character. You are staying for the next chemical rescue. You are waiting for the slot machine to hit the jackpot, the myth of the spark. This biological addiction creates the greatest romantic delusion of the modern era, the myth of the spark. We are taught to hunt for an immediate, overwhelming, intoxicating friction when we meet someone. We call it chemistry. We call it destiny. But if we analyze the neurochemistry of that sudden, anxious intensity, we find something far more alarming. For an individual with unresolved relational trauma, that instant, blinding spark is rarely love. It is your nervous system activating its alarm bells. It is the instantaneous recognition of a familiar predator. It is your trauma recognizing theirs. When you feel an unnatural, obsessive pull towards someone who has already shown you flags of instability, you are not experiencing a soulmate connection. You are experiencing the activation of your old neural pathways. The anxiety of uncertainty is being mislabeled by your conscious mind as the thrill of romance. True, healthy love does not feel like a chaotic roller coaster. It feels like grounded safety. It feels like clarity. But to an addict, clarity feels like withdrawal. And so, we run away from safety, labeling it as a lack of chemistry, and run straight back into the arms of the storm. Deconstructing the loop, breaking free from a dark attachment, is not an event. It is a clinical intervention with your own subconscious mind. It requires you to accept a brutal truth. You cannot heal your childhood by burning your adulthood down with the same person. The first step out of the cage is recognizing the withdrawal. When you choose to walk away from a toxic loop, your brain will scream for its chemical fix. It will flood you with loneliness, nostalgia, and false hope. It will try to convince you to go back, just to stop the chemical crash. Recognizing that this pain is simply biological withdrawal, not a sign that you belong together, is where your freedom begins. You must stop analyzing their behavior and begin auditing your own internal architecture. You must uncover why chaos felt like home in the first place. To help you map out these hidden patterns, we have developed a structured, step-by-step framework. Our subconscious shadow work journal is designed specifically to help you dissect your childhood conditioning, identify your unique emotional triggers, and break the loops of repetition compulsion forever. You can find the secure link at the top of the description below. The architecture of your mind was built by your past, but it can be redesigned by your awareness. Stop waiting for the storm to change. Become the element that breaks the reaction. Explore your depth. Subscribe to NeuroElement. Turn on notifications, and we will see you in the next breakdown.